On the news, Peter Obi receives Labour Party's certificate of return. President Buhari unveils e-government mechanism, inaugurates Presidential Council. And Nigerian Navy intercepts cannabis worth 500 million naira, launches manhunt for suspects. Glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has received a certificate of return following his emergence as the flag bearer of the party in the 2023 presidential election. Obi, after receiving the certificate, promised his readiness to lead the nation out of its present economic woes. The former Anambra State governor said unless the country moves from a consuming nation to a producing one, its currency will continue to diminish in value. On his part, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, said the party is ready to change the political narrative in the country with the caliber of people in its fold.
Whenever I hear of no structure, my answer to it is simple. 100 million Nigerians that live under poverty will be the structure. 35 million Nigerians who don't have youth, who don't know where the next meal will come from, will be the structure. The elderly, the mothers, the fathers, the old ones that are dying or being owed gratuity, pension will be the structure. The ASU, the lecturers who are being owed, the students that are not in school will be the structure. We will create the structure. And they will see what the structure is all about. The structure is about human beings. We cannot keep our children at home for months now, and we're talking about 2023. It's about the future. Yes, people can say anything about how I manage resources. That was why I was able to keep 75 billion of Anambra State money when I was living, because it's public money. It was not my money. It was money entrusted to me.
It's only this party that represents hope now for Nigeria. With the presidential candidate of this party being His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, Nigeria cannot get it wrong. Those of us who have been working very hard to ensure that democracy and rule of law thrive in Nigeria have seen this place as the only place to rework Nigeria, prosperity can only be possible through a leadership that will be provided by Mr. Peter Obi in this country.
Still in politics, the national leader and flag bearer of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, has vowed to sustain Buhari's legacies when he wins the election and is sworn in as a successor. Speaking to the media after meeting with President Buhari, he commended the president for providing a level playing field for the process of selecting the party's presidential candidate. Tinubu was accompanied by Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Wale Tinubu.
He promised the entire country and the world that he will build a legacy of transparency and consistency, legacy of level playing ground for all the candidates. He will be committed to democratic principles and values, and he did so. He didn't endorse anybody. He didn't impose anybody. He did not at any time attempt to tinker with the process of this election to favor one tribe or the other. It's not my victory that is important. It's the process and the management of that election that gave it to President Muhammadu Buhari. I am experienced from private sector to public sector and ready to hit the ground running same day and not mess up the legacy of progress and honesty that is left behind for me and handed over to me by President Muhammadu Buhari. All APC family members should celebrate in a limited manner. We just begin hard work. The work ahead to win the victory for our party is a hard one.
Now that the major political parties, the APC and the PDP, have selected their flag bearers in the 2023 presidential election, attention has been shifted to who their running mates will be. While the People's Democratic Party flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, is expected to name a running mate from the southern region of the country, his rival in the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, is expected to pick a northerner as his vice presidential candidate. Well, to discuss this further, Adefolari Olamilekan, a political affairs analyst, joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. As consultations continue over who the presidential candidate, especially from the major parties, will pick as running mates, INEC has set a June 17th, 2022 as deadline for presidential candidates to name their running mates. How do you think this will play out?
That's a very good question and very sensitive as it is. But let me quickly establish here that the entire Nigerians are waiting for the two major political parties to make the VP slot, open in the sense that Nigerians want to know who and who is going to be the VP of the APC and who is going to be the VP of the PDP. But one thing that will definitely play out, especially for the APC, is that we don't think, and Nigerians are not expecting them to field a Muslim ticket. That's on the one side. Then for the PDP, it is expected that to make that justice, that equity that PDP also crave for, and which Nigerians also look out for, that at least a VP slot should come from the southeast. But you know how it has been with the PDP, especially with the influence and of Governor Wike of Rivers State, which is probably a likable VP candidate. But we also know that Governor Kowa is also standing by, which is also a very good candidate that could also be put in. But all this put together, we know that at the end of the day, one person must get a VP slot. But Nigerians expect, if I will say it rightly here, Nigerians expect a VP slot of PDP to come from the southeast. Then for the APC, definitely it must come from the north. But the north also have its own challenges in the sense that since Tinubu is a Muslim, it's not expected that a Muslim from the north should be fielded. But we know that with the permutation and manipulation that is expected based on the elite calculation of Nigerian politics, they may not want to fill the Muslim ticket, because if they do that, it may jeopardize their chances in getting votes from the southern part of the country, especially from the Christian majority voters. So we expect them to fill someone, maybe a Christian from the north, who must be capable, because in the calculation of all this, either for PDP, either for APC, even for other minor party that are also contesting for the presidency, whoever they are going to field for the VP slot must be as good as the presidential candidate of the party, in a sense that the presidential candidate, as intelligent, as sensitive, as proactive they may be, they must not field a VP that will just become a spare tire in O, because the VP position at the federal level is very, very technical. It's going to be the chairman of the Economic Council. It's going to drive some of the initiative of the economic development plan of the party. So whoever that is coming in, minus the issue of maybe ethnicity, religious background that we may be feeding in, that person must be sound, must be intelligent, and must have a way to carry all stakeholders majority in the economic realm of the country along. And you also remember that who is going to be the VP must be someone that must command respect from the entire 36 states, including the CBN governor and all other relevant agencies of government that are into the economic realm of the country. So it's a slot that the two party and other minor party must think strategically on whoever they are going to bring, either from the geopolitical zone. But as I've said, definitely APC must go to the north. Meanwhile, the PDP must just lead between the southeast and the south-south. But definitely, if they want it good for them, from my own estimation, they must go for the southeast.
Now, in terms of strategy for the APC, debate over whether Tinubu would choose a Muslim as a vice presidential candidate has heightened. What card do you think the APC will play to secure votes in the 2023
Please, can
election?
you come again?
Now, in your first response, you spoke about strategy in terms of making sure that each party, whether the APC or the PDP, comes into power or retains power, as the case may be. But for the APC, debate over whether Tinubu would choose a Muslim as the vice presidential candidate has heightened. What card do you think the APC will play to secure the votes in the 2023 election?
Definitely, you know, the calculation of the APC, for instance, since the South has gotten the presidency ticket, especially the Southwest, they must strategically look at how they may be able to win the vote of everybody, either in the North, either in the South. But majorly, the card they are throwing out is this. As I said earlier, it mustn't be a Muslim ticket, but probably it must be a ticket that will fit in to carry everybody along, because the vote is what they are looking for. And to get the vote, they must be very, very strategic. When I mean strategic, it's not just picking someone from anywhere, or picking a technocrat, or picking somebody because he has been a governor, or he was a governor, or he was a minister. No, it won't work like that. But they must pick someone that must be as good as Tinubu himself, because that is the key thing. And if you look at the way the two parties are playing their VP slot issues, they are looking at each other. Who is PDP is going to pick? Who is APC is going to pick? And because do you know why they are doing that? They are doing that in a sense that the person they are picking as the presidential candidate is good enough to win vote, but they need more vote. And to get more vote, they must pick a vice president that must have that influence to gather vote. I know you must have come across the news from the Nigerian Youth Council saying APC must pick a very youthful age VP. That is a warning to them that they must pick somebody that will be able to serve them in that purpose. Then secondly, the other issue that we're also looking at is that beyond just this ethnocentric or religious acrimony that comes with the VP issue, we must also be able to calculate. The party must be able to calculate in a way that whoever they are going to bring up must be, I will repeat again, must be someone that can help them out, not just to win the vote, but must help them out to strengthen and drive the economy in a way that Nigerians will be happy with. Because as it is, whoever they are going to appoint or pick as VP must not be a spare-tire VP. It must not be somebody that will be politicizing the issue. It must be somebody that is strategically appointed or picked that will drive the economy as we want all over Nigeria.
Indeed, Daddy Folari, I'm sorry I have to cut you short there, but thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you for coming. And moving on away from politics, President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Presidential Council on Digital Economy and E-Government, promising that his administration will continue to take advantage of digital technologies to transform every sector of the economy. The President directed the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, to chair the council on his behalf and give regular updates. While charging members of the council to work towards strengthening the capacity of government, the President explained that the council will provide structure for accelerating achievements in the digital economy and in the implementation of e-government in the country. The implementation of the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy is very successful. The minister explained some of the achievements of the ministry.
The impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the global economy showed that the steps we took in developing and implementing national digital economy policy and strategy were indeed timely. For example, the information and communication technology sector was the fastest growing sector in both the fourth quarter of 2020 and the entire year 2020, based on the report by the National Bureau of Statistics. The sector's 14.7% double-digit growth rate was instrumental in supporting our economy, our country, to exit the recession triggered by the coronavirus pandemic far earlier than predicated by experts.
The sector has provided intervention for ICT facilities, training, and many more to over 1,667 institutions in Nigeria at federal, state, and even local government. Furthermore, with the digital economy that Mr. President happens to be the father of it in Nigeria, a lot has been achieved looking at how this administration has increased revenue generation through the sector, particularly the sale of spectrum. Recently, the sector has auctioned some spectrum, and looking at the amount that has been generated, in certain areas, revenue generation has been increased by over 400%.
The Ondo State High Court has sentenced 3 persons to death for killing Funke Olakunrin, the daughter of the Afenifere leader Reuben Fashoranti. The trial judge, Justice William Rotimi Olamide, in his verdict, sentenced them to death by hanging or firing squad and charges bordering on conspiracy to kill, murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery. The deceased was killed by convicts along Benin-Ore Shagamu Expressway in the Ore Odigbo local government area of the state in June 2019 on their way to Lagos State. The convicts are Awalu Abubakar, Mohammed Shehu, and Adamu Adamu. The Nigerian Navy says it has intercepted 463 bags of cannabis sativa worth over 500 million naira during a routine sea patrol off Lagos Fairway Bureau. The commander, Nigerian Navy ship Beecroft Commodore Malami Haruna, said the suspect, on sighting the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service patrol boat, jumped into a speedboat and sped off, adding that efforts are being made to apprehend them. He added that prevention of such large quantities of hard drugs from entering the society would serve to reduce drug intakes that make youths commit crimes in the society. He commended the patrol teams for their commitment in living up to their assigned responsibilities at the Western Naval Command.
The Nigerian Navy intercepted a boat laden with contraband suspected to be cannabis sativa, popularly known as marijuana. The interception was done during the routine sea patrol conducted by the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service off Lagos Fairway Buoy. The suspects, on sighting the patrol boat, jumped into a speedboat and sped off. Though the suspects are at large, efforts are being made to apprehend them. However, the boat laden with the contraband was towed to the base for further investigation. Our investigations revealed that the boat was loaded with about 463 large sacks of compressed marijuana worth more than 500 million naira in local market.
There is no heinous crime in this society that drug is not the oxygen. Drug provides the oxygen that drives all these kidnapping, arson, murder, and what have you. So you can see that the contribution of all stakeholders, because drug enforcement is a stakeholder responsibility. You can see the contribution to national security and national development. Because if you allow these 500 million naira worth of drug to go into the society, the person can use that money to get a political position, and you know the type of policy that is going to push.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, makes 1.7 trillion naira from crude sales in 12 months. Details of the story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has received a certificate of return following his emergence as a flag bearer of the party in the 2023 presidential election. The National Secretary of the Labour Party, Umar Ibrahim, had earlier said that Peter Obi remained the party's presidential flag bearer and that there was no faction in the party. We also told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Presidential Council on Digital Economy and E-Government, promising that his administration will continue to take advantage of digital technologies to transform every sector of the economy, while charging members of the council to work towards strengthening the capacity of government. The President explained that the council would provide structure for accelerating achievements in the digital economy and in the implementation of the government in the country. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin, or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. And now to COVID-19 updates. The Biden administration will soon eliminate the requirement that U.S.-bound air travelers present a negative COVID-19 test before departure, according to a senior administration official. The elimination of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's requirement will go into effect from Sunday, June the 12th. The official, however, explained that the requirement will be reinstated if necessary. Results of an early trials indicate that the updated version of the Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine produces an 8-fold increase in antibody levels against the Omicron variant. Moderna's chief medical officer, Dr. Paul Burton, said the new vaccine raised antibody levels to such a degree that one booster a year could be enough unless a substantially different variant calls for the vaccine to be redesigned again. The vaccine is the first bivalent formulation to combine protection against Omicron and the original strain of coronavirus, and is the company's leading candidate for upcoming autumn booster programs. Well, we'll take a break here and return with more stories and business. To stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Let's now join Simi Soladigun for more stories in business. Over to you, Simi.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to business. The financial report from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, for August has shown that revenue made from crude oil sales in 1 year has been put at 1.7 trillion naira. The report reveals that the sum was earned from March 2020 to March 2021 after it lifted a total of 108 million barrels of crude oil within the year at an average price of $43 per barrel. In order to meet domestic product supply requirements, the NNPC said all the barrels were processed under the direct sales, direct purchase scheme, while no deliveries were made to the domestic refineries for processing. The interim managing director of Nigeria Air, Dakpo Olumide, says the processes involved in obtaining an air operator's certificate are delaying the commencement of flight operations, lamenting difficulties in acquiring aircraft for the airline. The Nigeria Air interim boss said there are ongoing discussions with original equipment manufacturers. On Monday, the country's proposed national carrier received an air transport license from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, while they await the AOC that fully guarantees them the right to begin air services. We'll take a short break here and be back with stock market reports. Nigeria's equities market increased by about 158 billion naira at the end of the trading week, ending bullish on Friday, ending 2 days of negative closes. Going by the earnings, the all-share index inched up 0.06% to close at 53,201 basis points. Market capitalization still stand at 28 trillion naira. Despite the bullish run, market breadth ends negative as 13 gainers face 17 losers. Leading the gainers pack on Friday are Fitin Healthcare and FTN Cocoa. MRS Oil Nigeria and the Initiates PLC are the least earning equities, both losing 16 naira 84 kobo. 217 million volume of shares valued at 2.646 billion naira were traded in 4,584 deals. Global stocks fell sharply on Friday amid high inflation rates, especially in food and fuel costs. As you can see from the table, our select global stocks, the FTSE ends at 2.12%, the Dow Jones 2.35%, and the Nikkei at 1.59%. That's all on stock market reports. Back to you, Folashade.
Well, many thanks, Simi. And on the foreign scene, Senegalese President and current African Union chairperson Macky Sall has urged Ukraine to remove mines from the port of Odessa to ease grain exports. He added that he had received assurances from President Vladimir Putin that Russia would not attack Odessa. The AU had said that without the resumption of exports, Africa, which is highly dependent on Ukrainian and Russian grain imports and fertilizers, will be in a very serious famine situation that could destabilize the continent. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
CK's hugely successful single, Love Wantinti, keeps getting international recognition since it stormed music airwaves. Just recently, the song was performed in Belgium by one of the contestants of singing talent show The Voice. The young singer, JAP, truly owned the song by adding rap lyrics, while young dancers spiced up the performance with well-choreographed steps. Love Wantinti was released in 2019 as the second track from CK's second extended play, CK The First. Media personality Toke Makinwa has said that man's disobedience to God's instructions is a major reason why relationships or businesses don't thrive despite all the effort. Toke made the statement during her show Toke Moment, where she called out many who blame God for their misfortune in a relationship and claimed that finding oneself in messy situations results from ignoring God's word. In Toke's opinion, God speaks to everyone in different dimensions, such as giving signals or communicating with the inner man, and we should all learn to obey. And that's all we have on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment now to sports, French champions Paris Saint-Germain are near to reaching an agreement for Zinedine Zidane to replace Mauricio Pochettino as coach, French media reported on Friday. According to Europe 1, an agreement in principle is in place between the club and 49-year-old Zidane for the former Real Madrid boss to join ahead of the new season. Other sources at PSG have refused to deny the reports. They say such an agreement would have to be considered with caution. That's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.